So, hi everyone, and welcome to the Node.js release working group meeting for the 1st of January 2021. We'll be working from the agenda that's in the Node.js release issue, which is Node.js release issue 638. And just to start, are there any announcements anyone would like to make today? Nope. And so we'll move on to the first item in the agenda, and I will also share my screen so we can take a look at it. So the first item is set up release working group meetings. There are entries in the Node.js.org calendar now. For now, I've set it just this week to be at 3 p.m. UK time, free UTC, sorry. And the ones going forward at 4 UTC, which was our previous time at 2-week intervals. But I did put out a doodle poll, and it seems like a lot of people have responded saying the 3 UTC time is okay for most people going forward. So I'm wondering if it's worth moving to that time and seeing how it goes, at least until savings time kind of changes things. I don't know if anyone has thoughts on that.
I'm okay with it. Sounds good. Sounds good to me. We get people that can attend.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, sounds good.
Yeah. Okay. So I'll probably go forward and move them all to 3, which I did check the calendars. If we're 3 UTC every 2 weeks, we shouldn't clash with any other meeting, like rotational meetings on the calendar. So looks like it's okay. So just start with that and see how we go. And if we need to change it to make give the opportunity for more people to attend, we'll go from there. But if anyone else in release or anyone else who'd like to attend the meetings could fill in that doodle, that'll help us just confirm whether that's a good choice. And after that item, I guess it makes sense to move on to the backporting the release key one and do all the schedules together in a minute. So the backporting the release key, README changes to the version branches. So it was reported a little while ago. I guess this is about, so we always land our keys on the main branch and then on the current release, but it may take a while for them to, well, we have to explicitly go and land them on the LTS branches, especially when the release is in maintenance. I think that's something we should do, and if anyone's doing a release, but I guess we just need to PR somewhere into our governance or maybe the releases MD file to say before producing a release on a given release line, ensure your key is available on that branch. I don't know if something like that makes sense.
Yeah, I think we currently have a policy that the key needs to be in the README, but it only refers to the current.
Yeah.
And it doesn't talk about the complication about the LTS branches. So I have cherry picked the commit for my key into the 10 staging branch. We don't actually have any releases planned to push that out, but at least it's sitting there waiting for the next release to go out. But obviously, anyone else who's been recently added won't be in the README either. So whether that restricts who can do releases, and we're not expecting that many more releases on 10, but yeah, at the moment we don't have the full set of release keys there. I guess there sort of also goes into that discussion about whether we still have that distinction between releases and releases who can do LTS releases.
My kind of gut feeling is the easiest thing for us to do is on our releases on onboarding governance, we just say, please cherry pick your, like once it's landed on the main branch, please cherry pick to all active release lines.
Yep.
Like that seems the easiest. I think if we start kind of complicating it, saying, oh, once you're entitled to do an LTS release or you have the access to do an LTS release, then cherry pick it, I think we will miss it. So if we just like start off when someone's onboarded as releaser, onboard it onto all active and release branches, I think that makes sense.
Okay, yeah,
like as the simplest way and ensures we're less likely to forget it.
Yeah, that sounds good. I think for 10 we were unfortunately timed that I think my commit landed on main just as 10 went into
maintenance.
Yeah, something like that. So yeah, it wasn't picked up into the regular backport.
Yeah. So I think I'm not sure whether that needs to go in releases MD in the adding a publicly listed GPG key or in the governance, or maybe both. Maybe that's a suggestion. We need to kind of unify some of that content.
Okay.
I don't know if anyone would like to take that action to just add that kind of sentence in.
Yeah, I'll take that.
Awesome. Thanks, Richard. We can figure out any unifying of docs later on, but sounds like a good way to make sure we don't forget to do that and remember that it's something we should do. Cool, thanks. Next few are to run through the release schedules. So I will open them all up. So for 15, Danielle, you have a release at the moment, don't you, for this week?
Yeah, I have one open. Everything's passing now, so I'm going to release it today.
Awesome, cool. And we have schedules up until the start of February. So we've got a few empty spots after that.
I was thinking about these days, maybe do you want to move the rest of the dates? Because otherwise it's going to be next week, right?
Yeah, I was thinking about this one, but I don't know. I don't know if we need to like doing a release in between. I don't think that's a big concern unless you'd prefer to. I guess your release would be slightly smaller.
Yeah, it's no problem. Yeah, for sure.
I don't know.
I'm okay with it. Yeah, if you want to just stick to the dates, I can prepare one in next Tuesday.
Yep. Yeah, I don't. If we roughly stick to like one every couple of weeks, I guess if maybe the week after works better in terms of your timing, that would make complete sense. But I guess without Michael here, I don't really want to push his. So feel free to move your date within the kind of 2 weeks, if that suits you better. I think that's probably a good way to go. I think this is just draft cadence of roughly one every 2 weeks. Security releases obviously bunched it up a little bit because we have to push things out.
I see. Cool.
Yeah. So whatever date works for you around that time. There's not many of us, so we have to work around our own schedule. So
yeah.
Cool. Thanks for that. So yeah, probably don't need to ask or do a call for volunteers for the ones in mid-February just yet. I'll leave those kind of open.
I can do the next one in February. I was actually just going to put my name in.
Awesome. Thanks, Danielle. Cool. Yeah, we're good for 15. On 14, we did have a aim to do a Semver minor, but that's a lot of work. We've not got a volunteer to do that just yet. We probably need to push the date out, but without anyone to put their name down straight away, I'd probably just suggest just putting like February X and just see how that goes. I don't know if anyone on this call today can volunteer to do that release.
Yeah, I want to look into onboarding into LTS again, right? But I'll not commit until I'm really sure. Yeah.
Sure. I guess for LTS minors, we aim cut 2 to 3 weeks kind of with the release proposal open. So with that being the case, that's kind of why I pushed it into February, because even if we opened it kind of today, we wouldn't really have enough time to give it that 3 weeks. So I'll push it to there. I might I might be able to pick that one up, but I'll need to double check after this call before jotting my name down. I can't remember what 14's in active LTS. Is it until October?
Yeah, I think it's only 12 months
Okay.
active. I think we did make that switch, didn't we?
Yeah. I can double check.
I'm
14.
pretty certain. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, I was just double checking that it wasn't April, because I know it used to be April timeframes that we did the transition, but that we're good. So we'll follow that. Node 12 is now in maintenance. So I'll possibly shrink the schedule down and maybe just have well, I guess no need to shrink it down. We just need to figure out, is there anything in Node 12 that we need to get released? I don't know if Richard, the patches you were talking about apply to 12? Is it the updates to NPM?
Yeah, the NPM update applies to 14, 12, and 10 because it's an NPM 6 update. It's just I believe it's just a minor bump to some of the dependencies, but sorry, a patch level bump to the dependencies. Yeah.
So I guess for 10, I know we've had some earlier discussions around February timeframe. If nothing comes sooner, causing us to do a release a little bit sooner, we will aim to get that patched in February. I don't know if it makes sense to do that consistently for 12, and also that's when the 14x Enva mine is kind of due as well. Maybe just timing them all roughly at the same time makes sense.
Yeah, maybe.
Is it causing warnings to appear? Is that correct?
I can't remember if it's warnings from NPM itself or through scanning tools, or maybe both.
So yeah. So I guess the call to make is, do we want to rush out some patch releases for 14, 12, and 10 soon, like next kind of 2 to 3 weeks, or do we want to just earmark February for when those will go out? The main factor of that decision is, will anyone have time to prepare those in January?
Possibly if it's just the NPM update, because I think it will land and cherry pick cleanly, because all the 10, 12, and 14 have the same version of NPM in, so the commit should land cleanly across all branches. So the work will just be getting it through the CI and stuff.
True.
So I guess for 14, we'd probably want to squeeze in a patch release in here, in between this, and not hold off until the minor, because the minor is going to take a lot of work, and we don't want to back up 12 and 10 behind kind of this minor.
Yeah, that 14 release is going to be tricky, because we haven't had a Semver minor since it went into main active LTS, which was in October. So it's getting on to 3 months of potential stuff to backport.
So yeah, that's going to take a lot of work, and I know pushing it out is going to take a little bit more work, but I don't, with baking time and the amount of time it's going to take to put that together, I don't think we can target any earlier. So I think 14, 15, what are we at the moment? Perhaps the security releases.
4 or 5, isn't it? I think.
Yeah, or 4.
I've got a feeling it's either 4 or 5.
I think I'll add the security releases in here so that we can.
Yeah, we normally do add the security releases in.
Just roughly Node update. I can't remember the version numbers off the top of my head. I know it was maybe 14, 15 something. Did I do that one? I think I did that.
Yeah, you did 14 and 15.
Fill those in afterwards. Cool. Okay. So possibly we will aim to get that NPM update out January kind of time frame. In terms of the calendar, we are Thursday 14th. It's Tuesday, around Tuesday the 26th, around that kind of time. Does that make sense?
Yeah, guess so.
As you say, it shouldn't be too much for us to get them through. I can certainly do one of them if it's just the NPM update and maybe any other. Maybe if there's open backports, it makes sense to get those out if they've been waiting a long time, if they're bug fixes, but maybe not doing the whole minor release for 14. Possibly makes sense. Okay. So I can take a look at doing 14 minor. 14, the patch one, I can probably take a look at doing that one too. That shouldn't be too bad. So I don't know if we have volunteers to do the 12 and 10 with the NPM patch.
Yeah, I can do one or both.
I guess that's kind of requiring the LTS bits. So yeah.
Yeah.
Perhaps in the minutes I will write our plan, and maybe some of the folk that aren't here will volunteer to do one of the others, but if not, it sounds like
Yeah, I'm thinking that maybe it might be a good idea to, when ramping up on the LTS releases, like given that it's going to be a clean
yeah,
commit
that's
to
true.
line, then I can focus only on the process and not as much in the backboarding and the conflict, right?
That's true. Yeah, if you'd like to pair on one of those, or I'm sure, yeah, that makes sense because you've been added to the team now, I think, or there's an issue open to add you to the team. So once you're added and your key is on that branch, we can go forward and start preparing. Yeah, small release is probably good to start before cherry picking a massive Semper minor.
Yeah, I think it's still pending the issue, but yeah, then the three of us, we can organize and get the security releases out.
Cool.
Cool.
Sounds good. So hopping back to schedule, is there anything further? I don't think for 10. So for 10, we're tentatively going to schedule well, we've agreed. 2021. Should we put 26?
Yeah, do that. Yeah.
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 I mean, do we need a release candidate for these?
Probably not release candidates, no. Oh. Just copy that over. I thought it was the other way around for the columns.
I can't remember if we've actually got consistency in the columns and column orderings. Or all of these issues.
Possibly not. Maybe that's the okay. I wonder if it probably makes sense while we're all here together to just jot names down. I'm kind of thinking, Richard, you've been dealing with 10 CIs quite a lot recently, so I wondered if this one makes sense.
Yeah, put me down for 10. And
then Roy, do you think you'd have time to kind of do the 12? You should be free to pair on it if.
Yeah. Also around the 20, yeah, the 26.
Yep.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Cool.
I'm sure we may get a few comments. Oh, I've done it again. I'm not going to do the spacing. I'm just going to. I can't remember the version number. I'll double check that in a second.
It'll be 12.20.2, I think.
You might need to add the.
Yeah, I'll add the security release in afterwards.
Awesome. Cool. Forget to do that. Looks good. And while I'm here, I will commit to the 14 one. Okay, so we've got those going out. Probably makes sense to get them out to people, so sounds good. So we'll call on volunteers for 14 and 12 and 10 are in maintenance, so we don't need to plan any further ahead for those. So sounds good. And I think that was all on our list. Is there anything else that people have thought about to talk about today?
I have a question about SitGym.
Mm-hmm.
I've noticed that with each current release that I've done, that it seems to be getting less reliable. And I just was curious if there was ongoing work or if we maybe want to document how to use SitGym just with the way that it's working now.
Yeah, I don't think we have any good docs that go through it, but I think periodically we try to like run a SitGym and mark things appropriately. Like if some modules put out a broken release or a release where their tests fail, we will go and mark it as skip until that's fixed. But it takes us, we don't really have anything prodding us to do that, to go through, do a clean run and triage what needs to be skipped, what needs to be marked as flaky, and what needs to be unflaked.
Mm-hmm.
So it's the time it takes us to do that, because if we keep doing delta runs and things in the modules are changing underneath us, we may not actually dig into those results because we just see, oh, it's occurring on the previous release, it's occurring on this release. So we don't dig into it as part of the release process, but it is something we try to do at times. Admittedly, I haven't got around to it, and possibly with the holidays and things, others haven't. So maybe we just need to create maybe an issue in SitGym to like try and get a clean run on node 15, for example,
Mm-hmm.
and see if we can make some progress towards that.
Okay.
But yeah, it certainly takes some digging. It's like, oh, something's changed in a module, go and dig into that module's repository, see what it possibly is. Has a test been changed that's now timing out every now and then? Is that our issue, or is it something else?
Mm-hmm. Okay.
Yeah, I'm not sure of any further ideas to make it kind of the process of that easier, or easier to understand what we need to do and when. I can try and take a look at SitGym to see if there's any obvious module failures that we can tidy up in the modules themselves that aren't broken because of our release.
Yeah, I'll try to go back and look as well, because there's definitely a couple that keep coming up and they're the same one. So maybe it's time to go through and mark some of them as flaky again.
Yeah, agreed. Sure. Thanks for bringing that one up. SitGym can certainly be a lot to interpret. Any other things to bring up today?
I just had one more question about even so I updated my release key last week and it got moved to master and then merged into master, and then I'm running my release this week, and I think I just want to make sure I understand how the release key is being used, but I have the PR that I've opened with my proposal also contains the new release key. Is that going to be a problem for the release today?
I don't know if we have history of like that happening before.
Okay.
But I guess we're doing the same thing. Richard, your key's been cherry picked onto the 10 branch.
Yes.
And you'll be doing a 10 release with it.
Yeah.
Correct.
Yeah. So
I
maybe
guess we can see how it goes.
yeah, I think it should be okay.
Okay, cool. Yeah, I thought it would be okay. And then I don't know, I was looking at it yesterday just to make sure because I didn't want it. It's such a big release that I didn't want to break anything.
Yeah, I think we have some issues. I don't know if they're in build or elsewhere about our key strategy, especially for the Docker team, and how I don't know if it was talking about automating some of this stuff or having a different method.
That one we talked about earlier was from it was related to the Docker team. They were saying whether if the keys in each release, if the readmes in each release line reflected the keys that could release those versions of Node, it would make their life a bit easier.
Yeah.
Right. Okay.
But I've seen other projects that have been doing validation of the keys, and I only know about them because I was tagged because they were not picking up the changes that we were doing on main. So they were still tracking like Node 12 and things, but they weren't picking up the README from main, so weren't getting the keys.
Yeah, I feel like if the key is on the release line that you're producing and it's in the README of the source code that they're hopefully testing against when they're pulling it in, I think you should be okay.
There's also an issue that I can't remember where it is now. It was either in build or admin or both, or maybe even in the TSC repo, about setting up a repository to hold our keys.
Yeah.
But I've got a feeling that's got stuck in limbo somewhere.
Yeah, I think they were on about someone's prototyped it with our keys and they were going to transfer, but I can't remember what the next bits were.
Yeah, well, it would have to be an admin to transfer it into the org, I presume, or maybe not. I don't know.
Maybe that's worth. I'll go searching for that issue and maybe tag it as release agenda, and we can deep dive a little bit more into it next time.
Sure.
We can help move it forwards. I think it is in build. I have a feeling it's in build, but we'll take a look.
Okay.
Sure. I think we covered all of that today, so probably end the call and thank everyone for watching the recording and speak to you all a little bit later.
Okay, thank you. Bye.
Thank you.
Thank you. Bye-bye.